As the focus is on the investigation, even the AIMIM chief has said that the deaths were due to suffocation and not burn injuries. We'll be tracking the probe closely. But let's also shift our focus to the state of Tamil Nadu, because the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister MK Stalin has written to chief ministers of 8 non-BJP ruled states, urging them to unite against a presidential reference that was made to the Supreme Court. Now, what is the story about? The presidential reference was filed on the 13th of May. A clarification from the Supreme Court on its April 8th judgment that set a time limit for governors and the president to act on bills passed by the state legislatures. Now, the landmark judgment was delivered in a case filed by the state of Tamil Nadu against the governor. It ruled that the governors cannot indefinitely delay giving assent to bills and must act in accordance with the aid and advice of the state cabinet. Chief Minister MK Stalin has described the presidential reference as a troubling attempt to undermine the Supreme Court's verdict and the federal structure of the Constitution. In this letter that he wrote yesterday, Stalin urged the chief ministers of the states of West Bengal, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir to present a united legal front in court. He accused the BJP-led central government of using governors as quote-unquote political obstructionists in non-BJP states. He says delaying legislation, interfering in universities and disrupting democratic governance. This is what governors in non-BJP states are doing. Now, Stalin has also asserted that the Constitution never envisaged governors as parallel centers of power and that the presidential reference attempts to reopen an issue that is already settled by the Supreme Court of India. To get us more details on this letter, let's go across to my colleague, Dharani, who's joining us. Dharani, in that long letter, Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, has made multiple points. The crux of the matter is he's calling for a united legal counter-strike, because he is saying that it is time for a common legal strategy to defend the autonomy of states and protect the basic structure of the Constitution.
Well, in the two-page elaborate letter, the Chief Minister has told that the BJP has been using governors as political tools in the non-BJP rule states to obstruct the functioning of the state governments, and this applies to all the non-BJP ruled states including Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Himachal Pradesh, etc. And he has written this letter to the Chief Minister of 8 states, as you told, and he is telling that the governors here, they've been trying to obstruct the functioning of the state governments by inordinately delaying assent to the bills, by withholding assent to the bills, and by abusing their position as Chancellor of universities to politicize educational institutions. So they are acting as a blocking stone to the growth of these non-BJP ruled states, is what he has told. And he says that it is time that this comes to a stop, and for that reason he is calling for a united fight against this. And he's telling that all these states, all the 8 states, including Tamil Nadu, the 9th state, they should put a united legal fight, in the Supreme Court in connection with this matter, and they should raise their objection to the presidential reference made by Mrs. Draupadi Murmu, is what he has told. And he also goes on to say that the governors in the non-BJP ruled states, they are trying to take advantage of the fact that the Constitution remains silent on certain issues, because at that time the makers of the Constitution, they believed that those who are holding high constitutional posts, they will be acting with morality and responsibility. That is what was envisioned by the makers of the Constitution. But in reality, the governors who are occupying the high constitutional posts, they are not acting with morality and responsibility. When it comes to opposition ruled states, they are trying to politicize their role. They are trying to politicize the educational institutions, and they are trying to obstruct the functioning of the state assemblies by withholding assent to the bills indefinitely. So this has to come to a stop. And the Supreme Court had earlier given a wonderful judgment by telling that there needs to be a time frame for both the governors and the president to decide on bills. But this is something the BJP is trying to unsettle. The BJP is trying to unsettle this judgment, and they are making the president come up with these 14 questions that she has now sent to the Supreme Court. So we should stop this legally, is what he has told.
Yes, we are also standing by, if the letter that Stalin has written to, if there's going to be any response, and if Chief ministers of non-BJP ruled states, adhere to the appeal made by MK Stalin. Will they present a united front in the Supreme Court of India? Because MK Stalin has warned that if the Supreme Court's ruling is diluted, it will have serious repercussions for federalism and also the functioning of elected state governments. Thank you so much, Dharani, for joining us. With that, it's time for us to take a short commercial break.